Hey Glow Getters, it's your girl Ariel Rose.
And I'm Khadijah J.
And welcome back to Grind and Glow.
Happy Black History Month. We made it to February, y'all. January is finally over.
And January definitely didn't take as long as it did last year.
It really didn't.
January took like 3 months last year.
It did. It was like January and then, hey, summer, how you doing?
Yeah, no, seriously. So I'm glad that went a little faster this year.
It definitely did.
Even though I'm a January baby, like it felt so long last year.
It dragged on. It was a couple months long.
All right, so welcome to 428 a gram. I know y'all want to know what is 428 a gram.
A gram.
Because that's a little hefty.
A little hefty. And if you didn't know, we're about to tell you and let you know.
Okay.
So that it is Black History Month. So if you don't know what melanin is, we are about to tell you. You've been under a rock. I don't know what's going on. But if you didn't know, according to the dictionary, melanin is a dark brown to black pigment occurring in the hair, skin, and iris of the eye in people and animals. So my dark-skinned people, hello, there you go. Yeah, melanin.
You got all the melanin.
All the melanin.
So as of January 2019, melanin has actually increased to $428 a gram.
That's right. You heard her. She said increased. Okay.
Literally, when we were going through content and we were coming up with this episode, melanin was actually worth $419 a gram. So in less than a month, actually, we've seen an increase. That just shows you it's not depreciating whatsoever.
No. And if you didn't know, it's definitely worth more than gold, like way more than gold. Like gold is only worth like $42 and some change. So that lets you know how much your skin is worth. So all my lovely melanin folks out there that have all that melanin in you, you are priceless. There's no price for you because we are worth a lot. So yeah.
Oh, it's so important to reinforce how important and how unique one's skin is, you know?
It really is. It is.
From a young age, especially. And sometimes if you don't get that at a young age, as you're growing up and you're growing into yourself, it kind of makes you kind of lose yourself and you don't really know where you belong sometimes. I remember growing up with a friend and, you know, in high school, you self-segregate.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a thing, self-segregating. Yeah. If you go into a lunchroom in a high school, and it's very different from a lunchroom in elementary school or a lunchroom in a middle school.
Oh, absolutely.
A lunchroom in a high school is separated by not just jocks, theater people, you know, and other, you know.
Cheerleaders, athletes,
band, all those things. Yeah. But you'll see people that bring their lunch. You'll see the white table, the Asian table, the black table, the Indian table. But in high school, it's very, very common to see people self-segregate. And if you have kind of teetered, you come to a realization in high school. And I've literally seen this happen.
Right.
And I've seen where people kind of feel lost.
They do.
And so it's so important to understand the magnitude of your melanin. Like, that is something powerful.
It is. It really is. Like, people don't realize, like how you said at a young age, like it matters, like it does, because at a young age, you're influenced by any and everything. And if you don't have someone constantly reminding you of how important you are, there's people that are out there that are going to try to belittle you and like degrade you just because you look different. And it's because they don't understand. Like, they just don't. It's all they see is you look different, and this may have been what they've been taught. And so you try to imitate the stuff that you see on TV or stuff that's around you, and you wonder why, like, you know, why can't that be you? Like, why do you have to be different?
Right.
And it's hard for younger kids because they start questioning themselves, and then that's when you do. And it's sad to say, a lot of them end up committing suicide. And it's like, why do you even know about that at that young age? And it's just, they don't have people to remind them,
to reinforce it.
To reinforce it. Yes, absolutely. And it's definitely something that needs to happen. I mean, it's definitely happening more and more now, like people reminding them and letting them know, but it can't just stop, like, because that's something that's not going to go away.
It's not a trend,
right, it's not.
Supporting the Black community, having our Black girl magic and our Black boy joy,
right,
and really plastering it all over the place isn't a trend. Us
it's
having
everyday life,
going back to our natural hair,
right,
like it's not a trend. We're not going back to it. It's always been there.
It's always been there.
Even if you wear protective styles, if you wear a weave, whatever, it does not matter. Right. It's the fact that it's under it, first of all.
And it's like the only reason, i.e. these weaves and stuff came about, is because of what people want to see and portray. Like, it was not too long ago, I saw on social media where a girl at a news station, she ended up not having her job anymore because she came back from being pregnant and she decided to let her hair just, breathe and everything. And because she was on the news and everything, they wanted her to put her weave back in. They didn't want her to wear her natural hair. So it's like, not even as kids, even as adults, like, we're forced to look and act a certain way because that's what society wants. And when that happens, it's like we lose ourselves. And it's like, now because it comes back, people think it's a trend, but it's not. It's just we're programmed to act a certain way and we lose ourselves and we have to refine ourselves again.
That's really true. And a lot of people don't even realize who invented the sew-in technique. And her name is actually Christina Jenkins. It was in 1951, and that is who invented the sew-in technique.
Y'all, 1951, it's only 2019. Like, y'all, grandparents is still alive. Like, that's not that long ago if you think about it. It's not.
No, seriously. Oh, yeah. So we are in Black History Month, so it would be a shame if we didn't give y'all some Black history knowledge. And we don't want to give y'all, the elementary school.
Right, like Abe Lincoln, abolishment, 13th Amendment, all that good stuff. That stuff you should know. If you don't know, then I don't know what to tell you.
Not that those things aren't important. Of course they're important, but let's learn something new, why don't we?
Right. There's always something to learn. Like, there's a lot of stuff probably people didn't even know because this isn't the stuff that they teach in school. They just teach you what's in the textbooks.
Exactly. And that even is different state by state, school by school.
Oh, absolutely.
I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine, and she was saying that it was actually a group of us. Mm-hmm. One was saying that she feels like she didn't learn her Black history in school, and she went to the same school as me, which is a predominantly white school. And another friend of mine was saying that she didn't feel that way at all, and she went to a predominantly Black school, and she felt as though their curriculum was actually like tailored to incorporate Black history in basically all assets and facets of their education.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that I really found very interesting because it shows you in the same state, you can not be learning the same thing just because of the school you attend. So in case you didn't know, the United States is not the only country that observes Black History Month. So there's actually a number of countries that also do, including Ireland, which was very interesting to me, actually.
Very interesting.
The UK and Canada.
Yes.
So, what's really interesting is that not until 2008, is it?
2008, 2014.
2014.
Yes. That's when they first started celebrating Black History Month, and they're only the 4th country in the world, like not just like on this hemisphere, like the entire world. It's only 4 countries that celebrate Black History Month, y'all. So that lets you know, like, we have to just continue to talk about this to let people know, because if there's only 4 countries in the world, y'all, there's a lot of countries out there, and there's only 4 that celebrate it. It's like, why, when we're everywhere? We're literally everywhere.
Literally. No, so
to give you a little history about Black history, it wasn't always Black History Month. It originated as Negro History Week in 1926. So that lets you know we didn't even get a whole month, y'all. Like, we were only celebrated for a week, which still is a big deal because, I mean, that's still celebrating us when we weren't celebrated at all.
True.
So it was originated by Carter G. Woodson. And with it only being a week long, they decided to use the second week just because that was close to Abraham Lincoln's birthday and Frederick Douglass. And these were actually two relevant birthdays that were celebrated in the Black community just because these people had an effect on the Black community. So they were important to them back then. Woodson felt that, we needed to know about the teaching of Black history, and it was definitely essential because we need to know and ensure the physical and intellectual survival of the race. And an actual quote from him when this was started, he stated that if a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. So that definitely says a lot because I mean, he said it right there. If there's no history, you're not going to remember where you came from and where you're going. So it's stuff that needs to be talked about because, for example, the Egyptians, people don't talk about that like there were any real records other than the ones that were being found. So there's no real history, and it's still questionable about the history of them. So he's pretty much saying, we have to know our history and keep it up to date because if not, it's going to become something that's lost and no one's going to know the history of Black people.
Yeah, and that's really, really important. And I've never heard that quote before, and it's extremely powerful. I mean, it's like saying forgive but don't forget.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know a lot of people say forgive and forget, but I go by forgive but don't forget because, you can forgiveness. This is off topic, but forgiveness to me is more for yourself than for the other person.
Oh, definitely.
And so that's why I kind of go by forgive but don't forget because fool me once,
Right, definitely. Because I mean, if you can forgive, like your conscience is fine, but that's the other person who has to live with that.
Right.
Regardless if you choose to forgive them or not, it's like even if you do, it's like, dang, this person chose to forgive me. Like, how am I supposed to react to that? So it's like now they're questioning their character and who they are.
Right. Just a little chime, a little sidebar.
A little sidebar.
But to bring some things into this decade, really, everybody kind of knows Soul Train as that classic Black TV show. But actually, House of Pain by Tyler Perry has surpassed Soul Train as the longest running Black sitcom.
And that's crazy because that's
crazy.
That's really still relevant, and there's still new episodes being made.
Right.
So that says a lot.
So we're making history every day.
Every day. So with this episode and it being the beginning of Black History Month, we didn't want to just give y'all a show that was strictly just facts.
Right, just riddling off facts.
Right, because you all can get on the internet and Google facts. Most of the facts that we may give you, a lot of y'all probably already know. So this is one of those topics where it's kind of hard because you don't really care about what you say because you're celebrating your history, like your Blackness. But at the same time, it's something that always ends up turning into a discussion about race. And the reality of it is that's just what it is, and it's hard and there's no way around it, and it's the sad truth, and people don't want to always talk about it because people feel like, oh, this is always just going to turn into a race war and all this. But that's not the fact. It's just the fact talking about how Black people are appreciated and they're not appreciated, and we only get 1 month out of the whole year. So we're going to talk about it, and if someone feels a certain way, then there's something insecure with them and how they feel about themselves if it's not a subject that they can talk about and listen to and agree to disagree.
Like in high school, like I said, I went to a predominantly white high school, and it came to times where there were some students, like Black students, that seemed like they felt the need to prove their Blackness, and other students that we know were Black and that we know we're Black, like, right. I'm Black, I know I'm Black, right. I'm Black, period.
Right.
So but I always found that so interesting. It was like, I don't think that Black and ghetto are synonymous.
Right.
They're not interchangeable. They're
No.
not the same thing.
It's
There
not.
are black and white people in every other ethnicity in every SES, social economic system.
Absolutely.
And so I always found that so interesting that was really something that I observed, because you don't have to act a certain way to be considered black. You never have to prove your blackness, because it's
your
literally
skin tells you you're black. Like,
right.
Even if you don't believe it, if you have something that's not connecting up there to let you know that when you look at your skin, you're black, guess what? You're still black.
Like, even I said before in a previous show that I played tennis, and obviously that's not a black dominated sport.
Right.
And so literally whenever I tell someone I play tennis, they're like, "Oh, is Serena your favorite player?"
Right.
And she is, but that's not the point.
And it's kind of crazy, because I'm like, at least you got someone that, they said was that your favorite player, because I played volleyball in high school, and you really don't see too many black girls high school, college level playing volleyball. Right. It's kind of like one of those sports. There's always like that one token or two token black girls on the team, and we're usually one of the best ones on the team. Right. But it's just one of those sports. It's like people would expect you to play, but you play. They expect you to run track. They expect you to play basketball, which I did both. But still, it's like, I still play the sports that you may not expect us to play, because I'm still good at it, so I'm going to play it. Right.
And it's not that other races do this to us. We do it within ourselves. And that can be, colorism is a whole nother thing. It's a whole thing. And because I'll say, like, I remember there was a girl in my Spanish class, and I didn't think nothing of it. But one day I was going to tennis practice, and I saw her with her clubs going to a golf tournament. Right. And I was like, girl, I did not know you played golf. But like, that shows you, I mean, within ourselves, we kind of don't expect certain things of one another sometimes.
We don't. And it's like, that's something that we have to work on within our own selves, because it's like, if we judge each other and that colorism exists within our own race, why would we expect more from someone outside of us? Right. Because they see we do it to each other. So that automatically makes them feel like it's okay when it's not. So it's like, then we turn around and get mad, but then we turn around and we're doing it to each other. So it's kind of like, we can't play both sides of the field. Right. That doesn't give us the right to.
Because I seen this one post the other day, and it was like, can we not act like dark-skinned people celebrating them is just for super dark people and having oily skin? It was something like way bizarre, and I was reading it, and I was like, that's not at all what I think when I see posts celebrating dark, not just women, but people in general. And I was like, who made this? It was like,
well, we probably know who made it, but we just don't roll with the punches.
Like, that is wild.
It is.
And that just but like, racism and colorism are two separate things.
They are.
And if someone tries to tell you the same, they're not. And that can be a whole discussion. But those are two separate things, and they somewhat fight each other and fight together at the same time.
Because just like that within itself, I'm not dark. People that know me, they know I'm not. But I'm literally my mom's twin, and she's dark skinned. So we're the same person. So it's crazy, because when it comes to me, I don't judge and see dark and light, and it just blows me when I hear people, and I hear our own people say, oh, she's pretty for a dark skinned girl. What is that supposed to mean? Like,
right.
Why would you say that to her? You don't know if growing up, if she struggled with being how dark she is. That may be something she just overcame. Or, oh, she's just pretty because she's light skinned. Why does that matter? Why can't she just be pretty because she's pretty?
Right.
So it's like, you can only be pretty if you're light skinned. You can only be pretty if you're dark skinned. No, that's not how that works. You're pretty because you're a pretty person. You just have that extra melanin that's just giving you that glow, and that's just letting you know, girl, you popping, okay?
Right.
Like, you got all that melanin. Sometimes I wish I had it. I got freckles. That's where all mine went. So I be waiting for the summertime to get my little butter pecan summer tan. Like, I be wanting that goldenness too. Like, can I have some and share in the melanin wealth?
That's hilarious. No, but even in certain areas of life, in certain competitive areas. Clearly, I'm a competitive person. I guess I get that from being an athlete, but also in, like pageantry, you kind of have to have a certain mindset because you go into pageants to win.
Like, if you're not trying to win, why am I doing this? Like, why am I wasting my time?
Right. But, pageants weren't made. Miss America, Miss USA was not made for Black women to win.
Not. They weren't.
They weren't. Just simply wasn't. And some of the greatest women we know in the entertainment industry have actually been pageant winners, from Halle Berry to Oprah.
To Kenya on Real Housewives.
Right, to Kenya Moore. But there wasn't a Black Miss Universe, Miss America, Miss USA until probably about the 1980s.
And that says a lot.
Vanessa Williams actually is a pageant winner, and she was the first Black woman to win Miss America. And so that just shows you, and that was just in 1984. That was in 1984. That is not long ago.
That's when my older cousins were born, and they're in their 30s, okay?
Like, exactly. Like, that is not long ago.
It's not, and it's crazy because it's not even just pageants, like modeling, fashion industry. It's a lot of stuff. It just wasn't, a lot of stuff wasn't designed and built with people of color built into mind. And it just wasn't. And so now that not only have we broken into those industries, but we're taking over those industries, and it's scary for people. Being Black, having melanin is scary to other people because we just told y'all how much it's worth. So it scares people because of how much power we have. And a lot of people still don't realize how much they are worth because there's so many people telling them that they're not. And it's just, if you take that moment to realize what you can do, you'll be so amazed. And people will be shocked that they don't even know how to respond. They don't know what to do. They become scared.
We're kind of revisiting this in a way, kind of in history, because we're in a very interesting era of our history right now. There's a lot of mad crazy things going on right now, y'all. Like, the world is insane right now.
It is.
And racism has taken on a whole new face, honestly, in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's not even where it's maybe just African Americans are just solely looked at as being a problem per se. Like I said before, I'm first generation American, and not that we are a political podcast by any means, but going into like immigration, I mean, we were, even the white people here migrated here. So, like,
none of us are from here. So I don't know where some people get this mindset that they're owed everything. You're owed nothing. Absolutely nothing.
What really is, key is that Black people around the world, not even just African Americans, we're trendsetters. We literally, if there's something that's popping, I promise you, a Black person did this.
From braids to sew-ins to clothes to music to just the way they look.
The way your nails are, to the way your hair is.
Laying down them little baby hairs, because I know y'all know what I'm talking about with them little slick backs, and you be like, girl, your edges is laid.
To your lip gloss popping, to your hoop earrings.
Big as a baby stroller wheel.
That's hilarious. All of that good stuff, yo. Like, that didn't come from anybody but a Black person, and you know that.
Hips to having curves,
yes,
all of that.
That Coke, that hourglass figure,
yes,
you know that came from a Black person. Anyway, I was in a group message, and they were like, Miley Cyrus started the twerking movement. And I was like, "Brr."
And on that note, we will take a moment of silence.
Thank you. No, but I was like, whoa, appropriation. But I no, that really blew me. Like I was really reading it like, your professor told you that? This is what we're learning in class now? What was the discussion?
Help me to figure out.
So, because that even goes into blackfishing. Now, if y'all have not heard what blackfishing is, it's kind of hard to catfish in 2019. Instagram made that particularly difficult with being able to video chat. And I'm pretty sure that's where most people were starting to catfish at this time. Like the fact that they even had a season in 2018, I'm not sure how they really did that. But anyway,
why?
It can't still be going. Is it not done?
I don't think so. And Apple didn't update it till now, where someone FaceTime you, they can automatically answer like, hold on, pause on the brakes. No.
Oh, I ain't seen that feature.
Mine ain't updated yet neither, but I hope
it don't. But no, okay. So if you haven't heard what blackfishing is, it is when someone changes their appearance either by tanning or I guess tanning lotions and such and makeup, and they appear to be black. Now they might also wear wigs or weaves in order to obtain this look.
And I know y'all heard about the most famous one, Miss Rachel Dolezal. If you don't know who she is,
and you may not know her name, but you know who she is.
You know who she is. She had a whole Netflix documentary about it. But she was an NAACP president of a chapter in Spokane, Washington. And she has been claiming that she is black.
This was like national news.
National.
So that's why I was like, you might not know her name, but you heard about this.
You heard about it. Like her parents came out, her kids came out, family, and everyone said, she's not black. She's pretending. But she will tell you she was born white, but she identifies as black. And you can't tell her any different. She's black. And she's going to continue to tell you that. She dresses black. She does her hair like a black woman. She tans
to look like a black woman.
Exactly. So that's just another example of black fishing. It's something that's real. It's really real. And as much as it may seem like they hate us, our skin color, our hair, there's so many that do any and everything possible to have the look that we have.
That's like there was this white girl that was like, I did these braids because I heard it's a protective style, but it's pulling my hair out. And I was like,
your hair wasn't meant for that. It wasn't meant to protect your type of hair. Sorry to say it. Sorry, not sorry, but it's not a protective style for your type of hair. And that's just that. Like, said what I said. So, and another story too, I'm sure you guys heard about it when it came out. Justin Bieber changed his whole race. He changed his race to African American while he was in Canada on break from a tour.
Which I had not heard about this, and because I slick be under a rock. And this blows me because I truly do not understand. Like, what legal action do you take to change your ethnicity? Like, is that on his birth certificate?
I don't know. I guess it's just as easy as if you want to change your name. Or, I mean, think about it. People that have sex changes.
Right. They can change their gender.
Their gender, right. So I guess it's not that hard to change your race.
Your ethnicity. That's wild. I did not know that was a thing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. People think like they swear up and down, they just don't like us. But at the end of the day, they like us more than they hate us, y'all. They really do.
That's facts. In closing, we just want to be like, know your worth.
Definitely know your
Melanin is worth $428 a gram. Y'all, I told y'all that's hefty.
That's a lot. You know what you could do with that? You could pay bills.
Why you got your whole Cardi voice?
Like, you could pay bills. Like, money. Bills.
So, you are unique.
In the words of DJ Khaled, you smart.
You are educated.
You phenomenal.
You are amazing.
You are golden.
You are a glow getter, okay?
Oh,
thank you. So again, listen to us on all your favorite platforms. We are on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, where you listen to music, YouTube, where you listen to music, you can listen to us. You're welcome.
So just make sure anything that you can subscribe on, subscribe, because you'll never forget to listen, because you're going to get that notification once a new episode is up.
Yes, ma'am. We are also Grind and Glow podcast on everything except Twitter. We're Grind and Glow Pod. And nah, I don't have nothing.
Well, y'all, this episode has been fun and real.
It's
about that time that we wrap it up. Until next time.
So I'm your girl, Ariel Rose.
And it's your girl, Khadijah J.
And remember, the harder you grind, the brighter you glow. See you later, glow getters.